Right, let me pull this up here. Turn my volume down. All right.
I thought it was Saturday. Yeah.
Okay, well, you see it?
Yeah, you're up there.
Aha! Got it. All right. All right, well, everybody, welcome. It is the morning grind, and it's Friday.
Yay!
It's Friday. I'm so glad to be here, able to do this little morning grind this morning. I've been excited about doing it. And we can't wait for Tommy to get back. It's not the same around here without him, you know? So
Different world.
get on back here. It's time for you to come back home.
Yeah.
So today, what I want to talk about, if you remember anything today, remember PAP. Okay, that's my word, PAP. So what? PAP.
Okay.
So what that means, what that stands for, is position, approach, and perspective. Okay. So I'm not a very athletic person, but one sport I do know a little bit about is volleyball. My daughter played volleyball for years and years, so I watched it all the time. I know a lot about volleyball. But I believe PAP can be put into any sport, whether it be football, basketball, softball, baseball, volleyball. So just like in a sport, you position yourself, okay? If you are with volleyball, you set, spike,
Bump.
bump, set, spike, score. Okay? Set, spike, score. So in the position of that, okay, when they're getting ready to set the ball, the position has to be perfect to actually deliver what they're trying to deliver. So one time I remember was watching Gracie, and it was her turn to set. So she goes up, she sets her approach. I mean, she can do like where they swing their arm and jump up and boom, bam,
Yeah.
score. So we watched her do that she did it 12 times in a row and scored every time. And at the end of that, they won that set. She did it every time. And where I'm kind of going with that is like in our daily life, in our job, and what we do, it's our position that we're in that we set ourselves up, and it's our approach that we have a lot of times, and then our perspective. So I kind of look at it like every day is game day. Every day is the Super Bowl. Every day is the finals. I don't know, what's some basketball?
You got it. Finals. You got it right on.
Yeah, championship. Every day is the game. It's not a practice. You know, our practice is our goals, is our 75 hard. You know, those are the things that make us better, but every day is the game. Every single day. We get up every day and we have to know what our position is. And a lot of times how we position ourselves and who we position ourselves around and where we're positioning has a lot to do with the next thing that happens, is the approach that we use. A lot of times we're maybe in a job, maybe you're in a job that you feel like you're more qualified of a person than the position that you're in. But a lot of times we have to take that position and work really hard at it. A lot of times when we're in a position in a job that we know we're better at than we're given credit for, or we know we're more qualified, we know we could do more, we don't like that position. Maybe your position is simply the only thing you have to do is take out trash. The trash has to be taken out every day. That's your job. That's the only job you've got. Even though you know you are more qualified than just to take out trash. But if you take out that trash halfway, kind of half-heartedly, you just kind of go in the job, you just half-assing it, basically. That next step really does not look good for you. If you can't be good at the small things, at the little things, and do those things to the best of your ability, you take out that trash every day, you go in with a smile, you're whistling, you're grabbing that bag, you're tying it up, and you're going to the next, and you're just getting it, and you're doing it every day, and every day you come in and you position yourself to be the very best at taking out trash that you can be. And your approach is always that you're happy about it, that you're good, you're glad to be here, glad to do it. The perspective in the end of it is where little is given, where much is given, much is required. So the better you can do at the small things, the more you get. The better you do with the more you get, then the more you get. And finally, you will be in a position that you're pretty happy with, that you're glad to be in. A lot of times too, in our business, I think our position that we get in, whether it be with contracts and things like that, or we're in a deal, sometimes it's the way we position ourselves, maybe things we said earlier on in, maybe the way we handled this client the first time we met, God bless you. The way that we kind of position ourselves. Say we get some news that we've got to deliver that's not going to be really good. Maybe it's got to be something we've got to attack, and it's just not going to be happy for anybody. But a lot of times it's the way we approach it. It's the way we say it. It's the way we come across. It's the way that we talk about it. It's the way we deliver it. Has a lot to do with the next thing, which is the perspective that person walks away with, the perspective that you walk away with. You end with, you get a score. Even though it may be some really bad news, we had. I think in this business, a lot of times we have to deliver a lot of bad news, and we deliver a lot of good news. But the bad news is hard to deliver sometimes. But it's all about the way we've positioned ourselves from the beginning. It's the way that we approach how we're going to deliver this news, and then it's walking away and thinking, that went over well. We put a game plan together. We've got something else going. So at the end of the day, I think whether we fail at something or whether we really achieve the highest perspective that we were trying to get, then good or bad, I think even if it's a loss, it's still, as long as we learn something from it, as long as we realize that maybe our position wasn't right, maybe the way we approached it wasn't right, maybe as long as our perspective in the end is, hey, I learned something from this. I learned next time I'm not going to be setting myself up like this. I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to do it this way. Then I think we've achieved and we've learned something from it, So
You're
every
saying that some agents, so if you go into it upfront, honest, and let them know that, hey, there's going to be some good news and bad news, because as most agents are so excited and we feel like we can do everything just like they want, and then when something bad happens, then agents don't want to have to communicate that bad news, because we don't, like you said, we don't set ourselves up to where, like, hey, I'm going to tell you everything as it comes, whether good, bad, ugly, no matter what. I'm just going to let you know everything that happens. And sometimes it's going to be great. Sometimes it may not be the news you want to hear. So at that particular point, you've already set them up in case something does come up.
Right. You position yourself in the very beginning, that you create the whole environment for them, and you kind of let them know the good and the bad. This can be like a roller coaster sometimes. Things can be, we do have things that you come up against that is not always the good news you want to deliver. But I think it's how we deliver it. I think it's how we put a game plan together after we deliver that. It's all about it's all about the approach when we do have to deliver some really not so good news. And like I said, in doing that, whether we do the right thing or the wrong thing, as long as we come out of it and we realize what we did wrong, we learn from that, then I think that's an achievement, because it's something that, as long as we know we don't try to go back there again and make those same mistakes, then I think you're winning. But definitely, I think positioning ourselves in a way that we're very open, very honest, like you said, Stephen, kind of giving them the whole ball of wax of, this is what we're dealing with, this is what we've got going on. I'm always going to be upfront with you, I'm always going to be honest with you, and I'm always going to give you the best direction I can give you in order to keep this running smoothly.
What would be an approach if you have a $250,000 buyer in Rutherford County, first-time home buyer that wanted 100% financing loan, and you got them off of a lead call and you got in front of them? How would you approach? What would be your approach to set up and spike on that one?
I think the very first thing I would do, and we came up against this just a few weeks ago with someone new we'd been working with, kind of same scenario, looking for that type price home, whatever. And the very first thing that I told them is, hey, you're in the price point everybody's in. You're in the price point everybody's looking for that house, and this is the bad news. We've only got X amount of homes for sale in this price point in Rutherford County. This is the other thing. We got 2,500 agents, and buyers call it. People moving here all the time, and buyers are looking for this. So when we find something, if it checks most of your boxes, unfortunately, I'd like to say go home, sleep on it. You don't have time for that. If this checks the boxes and you fall in love or it fits your needs, then I would say be ready to pull the trigger. That way, when we do get into these situations where we find 4 or 5 250 homes or 230 homes, and we're showing them, and we keep losing out on a deal, or they don't really want to pull the trigger, or they're just kind of we want to think about, we've just got a lot to think about, well, really, in this market, you don't have a lot to think about. You either like it and want to move, or you miss out. And a lot of times it takes missing out on several before I think the buyer really understands the whole ball of wax of how it works. So I think setting that up on the front end makes the job of finding that 250 home really easy then, because when one does magically appear, and when we get in to see it, they are ready to go. They're ready to pull the trigger, and it makes for a huge success. It takes a lot of weeks and showings, and taking this buyer out and showing them all these different properties, for them to just be nah. They let a lot of good ones go by, so I think it takes a lot of that time out. And when they do find the one, they write it up. They're ready to go. And I think when you deliver that on the front end, they know. If you don't tell them that, if you don't make them aware of that, then they don't know. They think 250 is just kind of out there. That's normal. They're everywhere. They're a dime a dozen, but they're not. They're not.
They think, hey, I'm spending $250,000. I'm going to get this home inspected.
Yeah.
So, so that's kind of some of the things that I guess is the approach. You got to advise them, yes, that is your right, because we can never advise anybody not to do it. But at the end of the day, we have a due diligence, a fiduciary duty to let them know this is what the market's doing now.
Right. Right.
And the good thing about what you call the spike or the set or the win is, hey, we work 24/7, and we got 15 agents to kind of make sure that we're on every house every time, making as many offers as we need to get you in a house.
Right.
To make this easy for you.
That's right.
Or all these listings we're bringing in right now too.
Yeah.
Another big thing.
Oh, that's a huge thing. I think too, like even on that side of it, with listing, I think when you position yourself right on the front end of it, and you sit down with them and you tell them, you talk about it, and whether it's a a home that we know is going to show multiple times, and just prepare them. Say, look, we're going to do open house this weekend. I would just suggest just make plans and be gone the whole weekend. Just kind of just little things. It's positioning every little move that you make so that the approach and the perspective, it all lines up. Like, I don't know a whole lot about football. Okay, don't know a whole lot.
It's all
But
right.
but
You kick it in the goal.
but I do know when the quarterback has the football, he has got to position himself. He's got to be turned the right way. Hands have got to be the right way. Stance has got to be the right way. Everything has got to be perfect when he passes that ball. The approach has to be perfect. Positioning, approach, and then, hey, score.
Score.
Score. Touchdown. What is touchdown? I don't know. Touchdown.
So how would you position, approach somebody that loves lizards and they have like 12 lizards in their house and they want to sell their house, and they also have 2 boa constrictors?
Yeah.
Big reptile people. How do you set, approach, and spike that one? How do you handle that one?
I would just say, honey, I think it's best if y'all just stay here. Y'all just stay here. No, I think the first thing, is unfortunately, I know you love these lizards and these snakes, and they are beautiful creatures. But unfortunately, your love and passion for these animals are not going to be the same as the people that are coming in here looking to buy. They may be frightened, afraid. It's not going to be the showing that I think you're going to like, that you're going to get the most benefit out of. So in that, then we probably got to get rid of the lizards, the snakes, or unfortunately, we have folks that they dog lovers. I love dogs. Then we've got cat lovers. They love cats, and I like cats, but I don't like them like I like dogs. But I do like cats. But when you're selling a home, if you've got 3 or 4 of those little guys, running around and purring, and got his cat box and his little ladder thing he sits on and all that stuff.
Getting offended in there.
Those things. My experience with it, when cats have been in the home or presence of a cat lives there, some of the very first things that people will say when they're looking, oh, I'm allergic. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I'll go into a fit. And maybe that's true. So, a lot of times, even with our, beautiful furry cats, we have to be like, I know you love these guys, and hey, I love them too, but not everybody else is going to feel the same way. And sometimes Tommy always likes us to tell a story. Sometimes it helps when you can tell a story and say, hey, I had a house once, had cats, and, unfortunately, everybody that, 1 out of 3 people that would come in would be like, oh my gosh, I'm allergic to cats. I got to get out of here. So they don't even get to show. You don't even get to see the house. So that could definitely be a deterrent. So yeah, it's hitting those hard things that we don't want to talk about. You don't want to go in someone's home and point out all the bad stuff, but it's how you approach it. It's how you talk about it. It's how you position yourself on the front end and let them know kind of what to expect, and your opinions on things, kind of just different scenarios of things that can happen. I think it's definitely positioning folks in the right direction to get the result that they're wanting, which is to sell the home quickly. They don't want to show it all the time. So definitely, I think in any sport, the more I think about it, I think in any sport, PAP can be used. Just like basketball. Hey, I don't know a lot about basketball either. I'm not home run. I'm not a huge sports fanatic. I'm not. Husband is. All my kids are, but I'm not. But I watch it. I don't know what's going on, but I know with any sport, PAP can be used. PAP is used every single play. PAP is used. Even when it's basketball, Hayden, you play basketball, so it's all about positioning yourself, being in the right spot, making sure that your hands, body, everything's ready to either pass or throw that thing in the goal. Whatever it is, PAP is going to be is used in everything. And you know, our jobs, our everyday life, PAP should be used. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you are in an office, or whatever you're doing, you've got to use PAP. You've got to position yourself. You've got to keep your approach right. You've got to keep your perspective right. When you get your perspective off at the end of it, and like I said, whether it's good or bad, I think at the very end of it, even if we positioned ourselves wrong, our approach was wrong, and the perspective, everything was just off, was wrong. I think at the end of that, when you can look back and you can say, you know what, I should have done this. I should have positioned myself here. I should have said this. I should have approached it like this. As long as we can look back and see where we should have done and what we should have done and never make that mistake again, then I think you've won. I think you've achieved. I think you have definitely moved forward. Mm-hmm. And I think in this business and a lot of businesses, that is when you're dealing with the public, it's all about PAP. And when you're dealing with a team and you're on a team, it's all about PAP. You know, it's all about that positioning and the approach and the perspective. So I think for today, for Friday, that's the word everybody remembers. Think on it.
Blue ribbon.
Think on PAP. Think on PAP. Think about what your position is every day, kind of what you're going to do today, what type of approach you're going to use today, and hopefully you get a touchdown, you get a goal, you get a score, you get 2 points. So, or 1 point. But either way, either way, I think today, Friday, it's getting ready for the weekend. Set yourself up, position yourself right, approach things the way they should be approached, and walk away a winner. And that's all I got for you. But I guess we need to, because I can't really see here, like.
Like James was on there for a while. He said, great tag team, Shawan and Steven, have an awesome day.
Awesome. Well, guys, have a great weekend. Have a good Friday. We will see you Monday morning again for Morning Grind. I think the infamous GTT will be back setting here. We've had a long week this week. Everybody's got to get up here and do the show. Everybody's played like team players, and I think we've all positioned and approached and perspected ourselves in the way that we should have done while he's been gone. So we papped it. So guys, have a great weekend. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you again Monday.